exciting tonight. If you got our recent email today about our live streaming tonight, that we also told you that it's one of those things that just happens. It's the 50th anniversary of the beginning of A Course in Miracles, or the birth of A Course in Miracles today. October 21st was the day 50 years ago that Helen heard those words, "This is A Course in Miracles, please take notes." So that's pretty interesting. I mean, I just think it's kind of, it's a great time to remember, to mark. Now, I thought about it today, how exciting that is, and we might show a picture of Bill and Helen up here. I think we'll show it, and we're going to be sharing it with the viewing audience. They'll be seeing what we're seeing. And when you think about the story of Bill and Helen, or the story of A Course in Miracles, it's not that we honor the story or make it something magical. To me, it really just marks something deeper. The story is the form, and really it's about the content. And what created the Course itself was this joining between two people to find a better way to live in this world. And that's kind of the purpose of A Course in Miracles. It's in the Course itself, it says, forget this course, forget this world, and come with holy, empty hands unto your God. The idea is it's not the form of it, and it's not all the stories, and it's not the people that might seem kind of special in some people's minds. It's none of that. What the important thing is what the Course leads us to inside of ourselves. And that joining to find a better way started this process. But that's the same thing that can happen within all of us. We all have troubled relationships. But when we join together to find a better way, even in those, whether or not the other person is joining with us, the common factor is that we're joining with that higher power. And that's what creates this experience. Now, we don't know what's going to happen, just like Bill and Helen had no idea that 7 years later, they would have A Course in Miracles. If you go back to thinking about it, 50 years ago, it was not commonplace to hear inner voices, to have automatic writing, to have channeling. That was not the commonplace thing. Nowadays, people would say, oh, who doesn't channel? Who doesn't hear an inner guidance? Much more common in thinking this. At that time, that was unusual, very different, and especially two clinical psychologists at Columbia University who were editing the Journal for Abnormal Psychology. So it's just kind of like humorous to think that this would come out of that. So during that process of that interdictation, they had no idea that this would be A Course in Miracles. They had no idea what it was. They thought that perhaps what would happen is they would take this thing down and it would be just for the two of them. That's why Bill started doing the process of the workbook when it came along, because he thought, well, maybe this is just for my healing. And certainly it was, just like it's for all of our healing. It's not something to be revered or made special. It's something to use as a tool. You drive around, you're not going to bronze your car or gold plate your car. It gets you where you need to go. And that's what the Course is. But what ended up happening, let's show those notebooks. This is the original Course. There it is. Notebooks. A bunch of, shorthand notebooks. That is A Course in Miracles. Much different than what we have today, right? When you think about that. So you can clearly see that with something like that in hand, that was the original Course, meaning just her original shorthand notes before she dictated it to Bill, who sat and typed it. That was the Course. So they had no idea it was going to be something that would touch, thousands and millions of lives around the world. They had no idea that that's what it would be. So it's kind of interesting. And I think for our own lives, what can we, drag out from the story, if you will, to apply to our own lives is that we don't know the gems, the diamonds that we are in the seeming rough. I know Bill and Helen had no idea that they would create a tool for spiritual transformation. That was not in their minds. And every day is a tool for spiritual transformation in our lives. As we do those workbook lessons, as we deal with our individual relationships, as we deal with the thoughts in our minds, all of those things that we are doing are creating something that we don't even know. 7 years ago, you probably would not have imagined you are where you are in your life right now. And 7 years from now, where will you be? You don't know. But what you do know is you are on a journey, as the Course would say, without distance, to a goal that has really never changed. Whether you take a dictation down and create what may become A Course in Miracles, or we begin the process of healing those interpersonal relationships that end up making incredible transformations around the world just by the ripple in our own minds. You know, they say when a butterfly flaps its wings, that it affects currents all around the world. You know, so we need to remember that the thoughts that we think, those shifts in our perception, make incredible differences in ways we can't even imagine. And yet it is so. So it's fun to celebrate this, and that's why I'm glad we could. I thought it was perfect that it landed on tonight, October 21st. I didn't even think about that until last week, and I thought, oh my gosh, it's going to, in 7 days on when we had our meeting on the 14th, that it'll be the 21st, right when we have our meeting. We don't have to do anything except do what we have always done. You know, because this occasion is not special in the fact that but it is special in this fact that it marks an occasion, causes us to stop and remember, and that's what we should be doing all the time. Remembering the mighty companion that walks beside us. And the littlest things that happen in our lives can make transformational changes in this world, just like a butterfly's wing, you know, flapping. That's the thoughts that we heal in our minds, or the willingness we are to heal those thoughts in our minds, can make these huge, huge transformations. And certainly we felt that in our own lives. We've probably thought those thoughts that bring us peace and felt it kind of release some tension in our own minds. Now, magnify that, you know, and magnify that, and know that it is making that kind of an impression all around the world.